It was just one thing after another, really, Mrs. Price. I mean, taking out the mortgage, we was putting ourselves on the rag. Then with the Pole Community Rate Council charge tax at the time.
No, that wasn't the bit, no.
No, it was envelopes with windows every post. And then a second baby come along and Jan had to give up her job. Well, we couldn't expect her to go on working, not when she suffered so badly with morning sickness.
No.
No, not in the hairdressers. People don't like to listen to it, do they? Not right next to the basin.
Well, that was when you took out the second loan, was it?
Well, I had to, Mrs. Price. I wasn't in a position. Same with the credit cards. All sort of Peter and Paul with a visa and access.
Yes, well, couldn't you have got some advice earlier, maybe from one of the debt counselling agencies?
No, there was one near us, but they overspent their grant. And then Jan's mum fell ill, and my dad died, and her brother had the accident, and then there was the fire. And I expect you read about the cat in the paper.
Oh, that was yours?
Yeah. Even then, we might have kept our heads above water if I hadn't got made redundant.
But couldn't you at least have paid the interest on the mortgage?
Well, I tried, Mrs. Price, but with 2 kids and the vet's bills, other things had to come first. I mean, I even had some gas shares, but I had to sell them to pay the electric.
So they finally repossessed the house?
Yeah, they put us out on Tuesday. Oh, it's incredible, really. 18 months ago, we had a house, a future, we could take a holiday. Now what have we got? All we've got left's the car.
Oh, well, that must be worth something. Couldn't you sell that and use the money?
Sell it, Mrs. Price. We're living in it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that reminds me. You wouldn't have some change, would you? Only I've left it out on a meter.
They're living in a car? What, 4 of them? What sort of car is it?
An old Cortina.
Well, how do they wash then and stay warm?
I don't know. They huddle round the cigarette lighter, I suppose. It is terrible. Family with young children living in a car in this day and age.
So what are you going to do about it?
Not that easy, is it? I mean, house repossession due to mortgage arrears. In the eyes of the council, you've made yourself intentionally homeless, which means, as you know, they're not obliged to rehouse you. Now, do I put pickle in this one?
Hang on. Is that for the bloke in the old fridge freezer box?
No, it's for the woman with the trolley.
No, she has mayonnaise. Oh, and that bloke with the tartan blanket wasn't too happy with his soup last night, you know.
Why not?
You forgot his croutons.
I know they're living in a car, but they aren't the only homeless people in the constituency.
But they do have 2 kids, Jean. Surely the junior section of the home must take priority.
But I can't help people to queue jump. If I do that, what are the other 5,000 on the waiting list going to say? I'll just have to lean on the housing department a bit, apply a little discreet pressure.
What sort of discreet pressure?
Sort of tourniquet around the neck. Morning, Norman.
Morning, George.
Norman.
Oh, Gino, sorry. My mind was drifting. Oh, if you could be pithy, I got a lot in the Filofax.
Well, I wanted a quick word with you about sleeping arrangements, actually.
You've already got a husband, haven't you? What's wrong with him?
Sleeping arrangements, Norman, not snoring arrangements.
Sleeping? Oh, you mean in the chamber, do you? Oh, we'd rather you didn't nod off in there. It doesn't look good now the cameras are in. I don't know if you saw Sydney the other day, did you? Oh, I should have used his hanky, really. I mean, people will go off and vote Tory out of sheer disgust.
Not sleeping arrangements in the chamber, Norman. I mean on the embankment.
Oh, yes, terrible problem, that. I mean, you go for a quiet walk along by the river, you're up to your shins in dossers.
They're not dossers, they're homeless.
Well, when I said dossers, I didn't mean it pejoratively. Some of my best friends here are dossers. Very sad.
Well, I'm going to try and do something to help all the homeless on the embankment.
Why is that, then? It's not Christmas, is it?
The homeless don't come round once a year, Norman. They are with us all the time. So, I am organising an all-party sleep-out to draw attention to their situation, and I wondered if I could put your name down.
Oh, yes. Sleep out, you mean like in a sleeping bag? In the cold, on the hard pavement out there all night?
Yes.
Yes, well, I'd love to, really, Jean, but you see, the thing is that 1 in 3 people do suffer from them, and cold paving slabs aren't the best remedy.
You can bring an extra blanket, then, in your thermal underwear.
Oh, I was having a bit of trouble with the flap, actually.
Norman, I have got 12 Tories pledged to sleep out and only 8 from the Labour Party. And as we're supposed to be the party who cares, I think some of us had better start being seen to be caring.
Yes, well, you better put my name down, then. Rally round the cause, eh? Keep the homeless fires burning.
Think of all those lost votes, Norman. If we could only get the homeless to register.
Oh, we tried that once, Jean. We had a big campaign to get the homeless on the electoral roll. Sent them all letters, you know.
Letters to the homeless?
Yes, wasn't one of my best ideas.
Oh, I'd be delighted to
I
come
know it
along,
doesn't
yes.
sound all that comfortable, Richard, but what?
I said yes, I'd be delighted to come along. Little snooze on the embankment, sausage in a bun. Sounds quite jolly, really. Like being back in the Corps.
I'd hardly describe lying on the embankment as a jolly night out. Have you ever actually slept rough?
I may not have slept rough, Jean, but I've certainly been awake rough. And it's a very serious thing, the numbers of people sleeping out on the streets. Certainly hit the bed manufacturers. Well, you think of it, Jean, for every person sleeping rough, there's an unsold duvet and a couple of pillows. Though I do feel that some of them are on the lines of sturdy beggars. I mean, a lot of them could work if they wanted to.
Oh, and it's so easy to get a job when you're homeless, Richard. You just sit there in your cardboard box and your cardboard phone never stops ringing.
But it's not that the accommodation isn't there, Jean. They don't have to be in cardboard boxes.
So what should they do instead? Spin cocoons and hang on the wall? Look, one of the reasons there are so many homeless is because your lot sold off all the council houses.
Yes, but it was the Labour Party that killed off the private sector with all these tenants' rights and tribunals. It's no wonder that nobody wants to be a landlord. Trying to get a tenant out, it's like trying to eat winkles without a pin.
I'll put your name down, Richard, and I'll let you know about the dates.
Yes, if you would. And you think this will attract plenty of publicity, do you? For the homeless, of course.
And I'm sorry to bother you again, Mrs. Price, but we keep getting moved on. It's like getting a bit crucial.
Yeah, well, I have been on to the housing department, but it's a major accomplishment just to get them to answer the phone.
It seems there's nowhere we can go we don't get harassed. We even tried down by the hospital one night thinking it'd be quiet, but the ambulances kept us awake.
I am doing my best.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just four of us in a car. We don't get much sleep. Nor much privacy. Everyone's always peeking in, asking if you want to borrow a set of jump leads. But, I mean, there's nowhere to go. It's double yellows everywhere.
Well, couldn't you park further out?
Out of the neighbourhood? I live here, Mrs. Price. This is my home. At least where we're parked, we're handy for schools and amenities. Otherwise, we'd have to commute. We'd spend hours a day in the car then.
With respect, Terry, you were offered temporary hostel accommodation.
Yeah, but they might want to split us up. It's all we've got left now, each other. I mean, I am trying to hold the family together. I might be holding it together in an old banger, but I am holding it together.
Traffic warden coming. He was getting his notebook out.
Oh, no, I better go look.
Well, I'll get on to the council again. Terry, where will you be for the rest of the day?
I'll be parked outside Dixon's till 5. The kids want to see the football. Then we'll spend the night in the paying display. It's free overnight. Thanks for your help. Excuse me. Cheers.
Kathy come home, eh?
That was 20 years ago, Robert. It's all changed since then.
Has it?
Yeah. It's Kathy get lost now.
Oh, Richard.
Yes, Freddie?
This embankment thing, are you bivouacking out for the night?
Oh, I think I should probably participate. Worthy cause and all that, and you?
Well, I thought it might attract a bit of publicity.
For the homeless?
Who? Them, yes. Thing is, long night, though, apt to get rather peckish. Now, I thought I might ring up Harrods if you care to come in on a hamper. Bit of pate, bottle of shampoo.
Freddie, the last time we split a hamper, I paid for it and you ate it.
Do I still owe you for that?
Yes, you do. Excuse me.
Sorry to bother you here, Mr. Miller, but I don't really know anyone else.
You don't actually know me either, do you, Craig?
No, but, well, you're my MP. And I've been on the street since I've got here. It's really rough. And I've not got a job.
I see. So you left home, came to London on a single ticket, no job to go to, nowhere to stay, and not knowing a soul. I must say, I admire your initiative.
I was only getting on my bike, Mr. Miller.
Ah, well, you should have tried a shorter journey.
Well. What's at home with it all closed down, eh? Even the unemployed are being made redundant. What's to stay for?
A bedroom. Your mum and dad, have you told them you're here?
I was meaning to get in touch, but I couldn't find a shop that sold the phone cards.
I mean, you were lucky to get this far, you know? You were lucky to get out of Euston Station without a needle in your arm and somebody's hand down your trousers.
I can look after myself.
And who's going to look after you while you're doing it? OK, Craig, I'll do you a favour. Got something here I always keep handy for visiting constituents like yourself.
Is it a sub, Mr. Miller?
No, it's one of the best things ever to come out of England. A bus ticket back to Scotland. Leaves Victoria at 2 o'clock, and you've got time to phone your mum.
Oh, thanks.
Don't you think you were a bit hard on him?
Hard? Me? That was Mr. Nice Guy.
Ah, Jean.
Ah, Richard.
Look, I was thinking earlier this morning.
Oh, I didn't realise that today was your turn with the Tory party brain cell.
Well, even one brain cell would amount to more than the collective wisdom of the Labour Party.
So you were thinking, Richard?
I was struggling to find a way in which to help the homeless.
And have you thought of a foolproof scheme yet of making money out of them?
It just seems to me, Jean, so anomalous that we have all this property standing empty in the city.
What property exactly?
Well, all these office blocks built during the property boom. £90 a square foot, now you can't get threepence a yard for it.
Richard, we are looking for somewhere to put the homeless, not somewhere to stack desks and filing cabinets.
Yes, but you see, Jean, with a little judicious expenditure, these empty offices could easily be turned into accommodation. In fact, I am myself on the board of a company with the odd smoke glass, high-rise sort of thing.
You astonish me. I never realized you were interested in making money.
I just like to keep busy. But the point is, you see, Jean, if the conditions were right, we'd be willing to go ahead with implementing a conversion scheme of this nature.
What conditions? What is it exactly that you, as a property developer, want to do with the homeless?
Well, we thought it might be rather a good idea if we could write them off against tax.
Nothing like making money out of other people's misfortunes.
Jean, if we stop making money out of other people's misfortunes, the entire economy would grind to a halt.
They clamped it.
Can't you get the council to do something?
Only split the family up. And what's that going to cost? £800 a month. Their mortgage was only £300.
It's a mystery, home economics.
Mystery, it's an absurdity. The council will pay £800 a month to put the homeless up, yet not pay £300 to stop them becoming homeless. They'd have saved themselves £500. Why couldn't they do that?
They can't afford it, I suppose.
And the other ridiculous thing is, their own house, the one they were evicted from, is now standing empty.
Why is that then?
Building society can't sell it. The market's too depressed.
You mean this family has been evicted from a house which is now standing empty, and while the house is standing empty, they're living in a car, and you're trying to find them council accommodation?
Yes.
Well, what kind of nonsense is that then?
It's a housing policy.
But while this couple's house is standing empty, but the price has gone down, why don't they buy it back again?
I suggested that. It's no good.
Why not?
He can't get a mortgage.
Why not?
He hasn't got a job. I found him one, but they wouldn't take him on.
Why not?
He's homeless.
I think I'll have a couple of dispirin when I go back to the office.
I wouldn't bother, Norman. By the time you've taken enough, you've taken too many. What, your wife?
Yeah, and both the kids about half an hour ago. I mean, it was bad enough when they clamped it, but getting your family towed away.
Well, I don't want to criticise Terry, but why did you ever leave it there?
I didn't leave it, Mrs. Price. I ran out of petrol. And if you want to know the truth, I went down the road with a can and a length of hose looking to steal some. Because that's how I've been keeping us moving this last week.
Siphoning petrol? Oh, come on now, Terry. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I know. It's not good for your lungs. And everyone's got lock-in petrol caps these days. You don't know if you're getting unleaded or what.
It's not just that. It is dishonest.
Dishonest? I'm living in a car and you're talking about honest.
You won't be any good to your family if you get arrested. And you can't ask two kids to go on living in a car. What sort of effect is it having on them?
Yeah, well, it is difficult for them to have friends round. And we've had to cancel the exchange visit.
Where's the car now?
It's in the car pound. I mean, I've explained the situation, but they say it doesn't make any difference. We still have to pay to get it out. And of course I haven't got it. Joke, eh? Perhaps I should take a mortgage out on a car.
How much?
Oh, Mrs. Price, I couldn't ask you.
I'm not necessarily offering. Come on, I'll give you a lift.
If I could just find somewhere to park it, you see, it wouldn't be so bad.
I know how you feel about it, Jeff. You don't have to say. I know we agreed no more hard luck stories.
We still keep hearing them, though, don't we?
I know you're tired of having people in the house, and I don't blame you at all.
I'm sure it's very commendable, you saving all these people from being put down.
Look, I know you've tolerated an awful lot, but really, they'll be gone before you know it.
Couldn't be gone before they get here, could they? And how am I going to get the car out with them living in the driveway?
Oh, you'll move it. You only have to ask. It'll only be for a few days. I'm going down to the council on Monday with a set of earbenders, and I won't stop till they cry for mercy. Now, they'll be in to use the bathroom and to make breakfast. Other than that, they have got strict instructions to stay in the car.
Yes, Jean.
So you won't be bothered?
No, I won't be bothered. I'll go to bed tonight and sleep with a clear conscience, thinking of those two kids trying to sleep on the back seat of an old Cortina. And there's jolly old Jeff snuggled up in his warm duvet and his 3 electric blankets.
All right, Jeff, what are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that I've made up the beds in the spare room if you want to go and tell them.
What did you want to be again? Was it buried, cremated, or canonised?
I think I'll just settle for drunk.
You were lucky to get out of Euston without a needle in your arm and somebody's hand up your jumper.
I can look after myself, Mr. Miller.
Yes, but who's going to look after you while you're doing it? I mean, do you want to finish up sleeping in shop doorways? Sitting in Trafalgar Square, wrestling the pigeons for breadcrumbs?
And they're tough pigeons. They win 2 out of 3.
Come buy them. OK, Fiona, as it happens, your numbers come up, and I'm going to do you a favour.
Can you help me find somewhere to stay then, Mr. Miller?
Better than that. And there's a bus ticket here that'll take you back across the border. Next bus leaves Victoria at 2 o'clock. There you go, no charge.
Oh.
And if you want to mention to your local paper when you get home that your MP very kindly gave you a free bus ticket, I'll leave that entirely up to you.
Oh, how nice it is to do good work secretly and have them found out by accident.
And another thing.
But it's not as simple as that, though, Mr. Miller. You see, I can't really go home.
Why not?
My stepdad started, like, coming into my room.
Oh. Jean, you wouldn't have a couple of minutes to have a wee chat with Fiona here, would you?
Oh, I'd love to, Ken, but I've got a lot on my plate as it is. Awfully sorry. Urgent appointment. Mustache. Excuse me.
So what should I do then, Mr. Miller? Do you have any suggestions?
I know it's an awful bad habit, Fiona, but would you like a cigarette?
It's a pity you can't get back in your house, Terry.
Yes, isn't it?
Especially as it's still standing empty. I suppose that's illegal.
No, isn't it? No, squatting's not illegal yet. It's only illegal if you break in, but if you happen to find a door left open.
Your key doesn't still fit the lock, does it?
I'd hardly try that, Mrs. Price, when we've been evicted. No, it doesn't fit. They changed the lock.
Pity.
Yes. Mind you, if there's a gale or something and a branch happens to shatter a pane of glass and you can get your hand in and reach the catch, well, that's not too illegal.
Yeah, storm damage. So, what's the weather forecast?
Well, it certainly wasn't fine with scatter breaking and entering.
I'd happily pop round myself after dark to check for broken windows, but as an MP, you don't like to be too closely identified with bad weather.
Yeah, well, I'd go and look myself, only I'm a bit well known around there.
Mind you, Jeff knows a bit about trees.
What do you mean, I know a bit about trees?
We'd be able to get the car into the garage and the washing out of our hair.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Terry, if you'll give me your address, I might pop round later on and turn the soil over. Oh, I'll just need my gardening tools.
Jean, about this doss out on the embankment tonight. Solidarity with our man in the flared trousers.
Yeah, 10:30 in the lobby, Norman.
Yes, well, the thing is, I'm afraid that matters arising, sudden engagements, burdens of office, presence required, duty calls, wriggle out of it just impossible. Sad to miss it, have to excuse me, there you go.
I see. Well, I'm sorry you can't make it, Norman.
Oh, so am I, bitterly disappointed. Ideal night for it, too. I mean, temperature forecast, -6. That should have the monkeys out with the brass away.
Yeah, I'll listen out for the client.
Just the sort of conditions you want to draw attention to the plight of the roofless, eh? Nothing like a cold snap to melt the icy hearts. I'll be with you in spirit, of course.
Well, OK. There's plenty of others coming. Thanks for letting me know.
Oh, least I could do. Only courteous.
What is your other sudden appointment, by the way, Norman? Late night sitting?
Oh, no, actually, it's the MP's all-party karaoke night in the Stranger's Bar. And not that I wanted to go, but having a bit of a voice, I was sort of pushed forward, you see.
Well, we'll all be rooting for you, Norman. Me and all the homeless will be thinking of you, karaokeing away.
Yes, well, keep warm. Don't forget your willy, ear warmers. By the way, what happened to your couple that were living in the car? They're squatting somewhere, I heard. Is that right?
Yeah, back in their own house. They found a window open.
Oh, Providence lent a hand then, eh?
That or a hammer.
Well, I see you, Jean. You'll have to excuse me. I've got to go and practice my scales.
Yeah, it's either practice them or scrape them off.
Look, it's about tonight.
Yeah, 10:30 in the lobby.
Well, it's just I've got a touch of the old bronchitis.
Bronchitis?
Yeah, I mean, normally I would do it like a shot, but with my chest, well, I wouldn't like to risk it, you know?
No. Obviously no point in making yourself ill.
No, no. So we'll take a rain check on it, eh? Or should that be a snow check? Oh, well. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, what happened to the wee lassie?
Oh, she's okay. I got her into a hostel. She can stay for 3 nights.
3 nights? What happens after 3 nights?
Well, your guess is as good as mine, isn't it, Jean? I mean, I'm just one man with a couple of quid. I'm not the Salvation Army.
She'll be back on the street. She's a young girl.
She's 19. It's considered an adult. 3 others like her have just stepped off the southbound train. I'll have to buy some more bus tickets.
Hello, Jean.
Oh, no, I can see I'm going to be sleeping on my own tonight.
No, just checking it's still on. 10:30, is it?
Yes. Yes, it's still on.
Good, I'll see you there then.
Oh, excuse me.
You mean you're going to be there, Richard?
Of course, I said I would be. My word isn't just my bond, Jean. My word is gilt-edged securities. Compassion for the unfortunates in society is not the sole prerogative of the Labour Party.
Well, I'll eat my thermal underwear.
I wouldn't. You'll probably need them. I've made sure I've got something nice and warm to sleep in.
And what's that, Richard? A nest of fivers?
Well, I'll see you there then. Cheerio.
Evening, Harry.
Evening, sir. Your cat not well?
I haven't got a cat. Why did you ask?
Hello, Jean. Bedding down?
Oh, hello, Richard. Bitter, isn't it?
As lemons, yes, indeed.
Finished talking to the press at last?
Yes, yes. Told them all how sympathetic I was with the plight of the homeless, how I'd organised this little sleep out.
You had organised.
Well, when I say I mean we had organised.
Yes, well, you can put your sleeping bag here if you'd like.
No, that's fine. I've already organised a place just over here. Well, good night then, Jean.
Oh, good night, Richard. I hope you managed to get some sleep in this cold.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I say, Richard.
Yes?
It's a bit chilly out here.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be, Freddie. There'd be no moral bonus if we were too comfortable.
It's just that you've got the camper. I've got the hamper.
Oh, is that for me? Thank you very much indeed. What the hell do you think you're doing? Can't you see I'm helping the homeless?